Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much. And if you're new here, my name is Sophia. I'm an author, I'm a writer, I'm a blogger. And on this channel, I talk about relationships, I talk about faith, I talk about lifestyle. And sometimes I just do reaction videos to trending topics in society on social media. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications so that whenever I upload new content, you'll be the first to know. Alright, so today I'll be doing my very first reaction video, and I'm sure you've been wondering, what's a reaction video? Well, wonder no more. This is what a reaction video looks like. So some weeks ago, I came across this thread on Twitter. Somebody posted it on their status, and it was really funny, but at the same time, there was a lot of strong messages in it, and I just want to read it out to you. So the guy tweets, "This is my problem with using Ankara fabrics to sew native. I'm seated in church, and this babe comes to sit beside me wearing the same fabric. Now we're looking like a couple in matching outfits." Now, this tweet is not even the problem, it's the replies that follow, okay? So the first person replies here that, "Is this how you guys announce wedding Thanksgiving now?" I'm sure the person is just being sarcastic. And then somebody else says, "I repeat, respect men." Then another person says, "God is telling you something." And the person that posted the original tweet replies, "God is not telling me anything." This very next reply is the one that really got to me. It says, "Your unwritten part of this tweet is that she wasn't your spec. Else the tone would have been..." Now the thread is incomplete, but I'm sure we already know where this reply is going to. So what this person is implying is that you're making this thing an issue because she wasn't your spec. She wasn't the kind of lady you liked. Otherwise, somebody wearing the same outfit with you and then sitting next to you in church, you would have easily attributed it to me like, God is saying something. So this is really what I want to react to in this video today. In this video is because we easily attribute good or pleasant occurrences to God's will or a good sign. So I believe that's why the I think it was the second or third person that commented on that thread. The person was like, "God is saying something." And many of us are like that. We see some good things that happen, some good coincidences, and we just attribute it to, this is the will of God. Why? Because it makes you feel good, or because it looks good. We just attribute it, this is the will of God, or this is a good sign. So we easily attribute good or pleasant occurrences or coincidences to God's will or a good sign. And then we also easily attribute good or pleasant things that we like to be God's will. Like that person was saying, although we didn't see all of the reply, but the person was like, the major thing here is that she wasn't your spec. Otherwise, you'd have been implying that God was really saying something. It would have been like, this is a good sign. So most times when things we like happen to us, or we see things we like around us, maybe people we like, we easily attribute that meeting, you meeting them, or being on the bus with them, that coincidental meeting, we easily attribute it to mean God is saying something, or this is a good sign for me to go ahead. But once it's something we don't like the guy replied, God is not saying anything. So most times we attribute good things or pleasant things that we like to mean, God is saying something, or this is the will of God, or it's a good sign, it's a good leading to go ahead. We also attribute strange events that are aligned to our desires to mean that God is saying something. Strange events. You just meet some people. What's your name? You are the guy asking what's your name, and the girl says, "My name is Blessing." And you, the guy, your name is Blessing as well. Yeah, some guys answer Blessing. I've seen like maybe three. I think 3 of them. Yes. So you bear the same names or the same son names, or you have the same birthdays, or you're from the same tribe, or you like the same colors. I mean, there are a lot of similarities in the interests, that you guys share. We just easily attribute it to mean, this is the one. God is saying something. For some people, if something is not dramatic, if it's not spectacular, if it's not magical, it's not God. We're so given to the dramatic things, that we don't believe that God can even come in a very simple manner. So for some people, when they just see all these dramatic things, the person has the same birthday with me, the person is from the same tribe, they like the same this, they like the same that, we have the same interest, we just easily attribute it to, this is the one. God is saying something about this person and all of that. But the truth is that that is not always the case. You can't just look at things like that and just say, oh, yes, this is God's leading. I believe God is saying something. It's more than that. Okay. Another thing is that most times when people go into the presence of God, wanting to hear God's mind on a matter, maybe on who to marry, what to do, what business to go into, where to relocate to, you're just really looking for God's leading, God's direction on something. Most times, if you go into the presence of God, already expecting to hear a particular thing, the truth is that you will hear what you are thinking. You will not hear what God is saying. So many people, before they go into the presence of God to say, okay, I want to go and hear what God is saying about this matter, they already have their answers. They already have their expectation. It's like going to ask somebody, what's this word? A leading question, like lawyers will say, a leading question, whereby you want this person to say yes, and that's why you're asking the question in that manner, because it's going to suggest that yes is the right answer. So many a times we go into the presence of God with leading prayers. God, this person is the right height, this person is from my tribe, this person likes the same food that I like. God, could this person not be the one? Already you've settled it in your mind that this person is the one. God, just say yes. And so most times, in fact, if you go into the presence of God, that's the point I'm making here. If you go into the presence of God wanting to hear his mind on a matter, if you're already expecting what he will say, you have to have an open mind, because God could say yes, God could say no, God could say wait. All right, but if you're already saying, the answer is yes, let me just go and pray about it. When we pray, when some people say they are going to pray about something, they already have their answers. Let me go and pray about it. It's just like a formality. I'm just going to fulfill all righteousness, that sort of thing. So most people, when you go into the presence of God, your mind is already made up on what you're expecting to hear. You will hear what you want to hear. You will hear what you are thinking and not what God is saying. Another thing I want to say about this matter is that peace of mind isn't the only sign that you should go ahead to marry someone. These days, especially maybe during marriage counseling, when you just ask certain people, what is the assurance you have that you should marry this person? Maybe they've been courting for a while, dating for a while, and they want to take it on to the next level, to get married, start a family, and then people are engaging them in conversations, asking, so what is the conviction, what is the assurance you have that this is the right person for you, that God is leading you to this person, that God approves of this person being your partner? Most people, the first thing they'll say is, I have peace of mind. And the thing is almost becoming a cliche. Now, I'm not saying that, when somebody says, oh, they have peace of mind over somebody, they are not being genuine. That's not what I'm saying. Peace of mind is very key. But I'm saying peace of mind is not the only indicator that God wants you to be with a person that's married to them, or get into a relationship with them. There are other things to look out for. And you as the brother or you as the sister, I believe if you're approaching someone, you also want to hear what God is saying to them. God has spoken to you. God may have spoken to you and said, okay, this is the person. They also have to hear from God. They also have to get convinced by God that you are the person for them as well. So it's not I'm the person saying God said, or God has revealed that you are my partner, and there's no response from the other person, because you're not the only person to hear from God. They also have to hear from God as well. And so somebody coming to you and you're asking, so why do you feel convinced that I'm the right person for you? Why would you want to marry me? I mean, out of every other option you have, why me? The person is just saying, well, I have peace of mind. Yes, believe them. They may have peace of mind, but there has to be other indicators. There have to be other things that you look out for, before you conclude that somebody is your life partner. And I also want to say this. If you think about somebody, you think about something a lot, you are going to dream about it. Now, I'm talking about this thing because it affects us as young people a lot. When it comes to, is this the right person for me to marry? I mean, this is the most asked question most times. If you find yourself in the midst of young people at conferences, seminars, programs, meetings, even online conversations, when young people want to interact with you based on their relationship, their questions are always revolving around, how do I know this is the right person to get married to? How do I know this person is the will of God for me? They don't want to make a mistake. So that's why I'm doing this reaction video, because from that thread, you just see somebody saying God is saying something because somebody wore the same material, the same fabric, and sat next to you in church. You're already implying God is saying something. And somebody else was like, you are saying there's nothing, God is not saying anything because she was not your spec. So I just feel that it really affects us as young people, and that's why I'm talking about this thing. If you think about a person or a thing so much, you are going to dream about it. So somebody coming to you as well to just say, well, I dreamt and I saw you were backing a baby, you were in my house. All of these things, by themselves, they cannot be the only indicators to convince you that you should go ahead and marry someone or go ahead and be in a relationship with them. There are a lot of other things to look out for. I'm going to do another podcast to talk about those other things, but I'm saying don't just get swayed when somebody comes and just say, okay, I'm convinced because I have peace of mind, or I'm convinced because I had this dream. When you think about something, it's predominantly what you think about the most. You're going to dream about it. And before you know what, you're calling those dreams visions. You're calling them revelations. It's the way the mind works. Sometimes you miss special people, you miss your friends, you miss your family. And that day you start thinking of them. When you sleep, you dream about them. So dreams are not the only things. You don't just dream about a brother or dream about a sister, and then the next thing is, I think God is leading me. No. And like I said, for some of us, we are too given to dramatic things. Everything must be, spiritual. Let's not be carried away. All right. That same thing happened to Elijah in First Kings 19:2. When Elijah was like, I thought God was going to come in a fire. The wind blew. I thought God was in the wind. But all of those things passed. The earthquake and all the dramatics, they passed. And God wasn't there. God just came in a still small voice. So God can speak to you in a still small voice. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It doesn't have to be complicated. The same thing happened to Naaman in 2 Kings 5:11. When he was angry, he said, when Elisha's servant, was it Elijah? Elisha's servant came out and said, go and wash in the pool of Jordan, you will be cleansed. He was angry and he was leaving. He said, I thought he would come. Dramatics, and just wave his hand, call on the name of his God, and and he was angry. But then his servants told him, if this man had told you to do something that was harder than this, something heroic, all right, that's how the Message translation puts it, you would have done it because you want to be healed. How much more this simple thing? Just do it. The result is what you are after. It's not about the process. So God can come in a simple manner. It doesn't have to be complex or hard. Alright, so we've come to the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. So until we meet again next time, bye.